Phil?
I got a right away grant on embark for out here, just out here on St. John Road from Indian Valley Road to a mile west. Right there in front of
It's something like Will was looking at.
Gillespie's. They'd had to cable out in the farmer's field, and the farmer ended up getting into it. They didn't have a easement.
Don Smith lived out here a few years ago.
So they're just replacing a mile of cable there.
You have any problem with doing that? Okay, I make a motion, we approve this right-of-way grant for Embark Telephone.
Second.
Then moved second, we approve this right-of-way grant for Embark. All in favor, say aye.
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 I talked to Wayne Ferguson the other day, and he said within the first 2 weeks of October, they'll be doing the city seal, so they'll do this parking lot over here at that time. I work out pretty good because we do striping in, so then we can get it painted up. There you go. Other than that, we should finish up sealing this week and get to moving.
Try to get on top of that.
I tried.
Phil, is there anything that can be done with the railroad crossings? Or is that up to the townships?
Is it on, like, is it on the township road?
Well, I presume. It's one, I guess there's a couple over there by Xena.
Well, I talked to Roger Volker one day,
Yeah.
and they were through there, and these guys were doing assessments on them.
Cool.
That's what Roger told me, and they were supposed to be gonna do some things in the future, but he's, like Roger said, it wasn't, gonna happen in the next 2 or 3 months.
I know, I guess a couple of them got hung up, plows or something,
Well, that's not-
elevators.
That's not good, I guess we can contact him and see, that would be a good thing.
Because he said that they're kind of like this.
Yeah,
And-
well, you get east of Stafford and one of them
Yeah.
pretty good. Even a few of them around here pretty
Well,
good.
you get West Mansfield, so.
But Roger was the one that brought it up.
Okay, well, he talked to him that one day. He
Yeah.
said they haven't, and I haven't talked to Roger for a while, so
And I might
maybe.
get him a holler. Was the railroad company gonna contact the township or the county in regards to the crossings? Or anything that pertains to county road, I presume?
Well, they've got so many feet on each side of that.
Yeah.
Because that's their right of way. I'll contact him and find out.
Because I know, the only one I know of is that one there north of the airport
Mhm.
on Southeast 50th.
Yeah.
But he was saying on over by Zenith, they're pretty steep and they can't get a plow or a cultivator over it.
Probably not, because it's just a knob
Yeah,
by the time
yeah.
you drop over. I'll see if I can get
Okay.
this about the roads.
This is a board, isn't it, here, or is it a ditch?
This is in the ditch.
Do they not need a permit or from us to bore into our road?
Yes, they do.
I was told that there was one bore into our road down south on the county line last spring. I don't remember him giving the right of way
South Delma,
for county and east.
I'll check it. We'll find out.
There's a pipe through there.
I'll check it. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you. Did you sign this? All right.
Tell Joe.
We're recessed till somebody comes in. Have any new information on this?
You have this.
We don't have it.
Okay. Just, I'll just read it.
Okay.
Okay. We have a checklist we're gonna follow for reconsidering this zoning permit. Where the statutory requirements are fully met and a full and complete record of the substance of the planning commission proceedings is before the governing body, due process does not require the governing body to conduct a second public hearing on the advisability of the proposed change. Okay. I call agenda item number 1, which is case number SU 07001. This is for an application for the establishment of a straight horse track and training facility as a special use in the A1 district. You don't need to continue, you want to take over? Before we proceed, I'll ask the board members if any of them intend to disqualify themselves from discussing and voting on this case because they have conflicts of interest or a particular bias on this matter.
No.
Please let the minutes show that no one has disqualified themselves because of, and has temporarily disassociated himself from our board. Okay. Is this applicable? Is this applicable in this case?
Yeah, you should read it.
Has the county clerk received any protest petitions on either of the cases? I have not. Communications, are there any other communications to consider on this matter other than from our planning commission? Okay. Okay, I asked the board members if they have all received copies of the unapproved minutes of the planning commission for September 17th, 2007, which summarizes the hearing on the case. And you've all received it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to, do you want me to go ahead and read them? Okay, I'll go ahead and read the unofficial minutes. And I would stress, these are unofficial minutes. The Stafford County Hudson Joint Planning Commission met on September 17, 2007 in the courthouse annex meeting room. Chairman Darrell Lucas called the meeting to order at 7 p.m. The following board members were present: Chairman Lucas, Marion Mashberger, David Rewert, Phyllis Staub, Roger Fancher, Wade Harrison, and Pete Witt. Guests present: applicants Dennis Kraft and Frank Ortiz, Ida Fancher, Tracy Fancher, Lonnie Gross, John Merritt, Greg Fisher, Lonnie and Joyce Carter, Ken and Joanne Dewey, Betty Dewey, and D.G. Keenan. The purpose of the meeting was for the reconsideration of SU 07001, which is Dennis Kraft, along with Frank Ortiz, an application for a straight horse track and horse training site located on the west half of the southwest quarter of the northeast quarter of 162113 in North Seward Township. The Board of County Commissioners in regular session on September 10, 2007 voted to pass this back to the zoning board for further consideration. Chairman Lucas opened the meeting by outlining the procedures that would be followed. There were no disqualifications from voting by those board members present. Minutes of the meeting dated April 27, 2007 were read by Recording Secretary Anita Keenan. Roger Fancher moved and Phyllis Staub seconded to approve the minutes as read. Motion carried unanimously. Darrell then read a portion of the County Commission minutes dated September 10, 2007. Applicants Dennis Kraft and Frank Ortiz were then asked to present information on the track. Mr. Kraft asked that those present not to judge us by the other one. Photos of the areas were reviewed by the board. Mr. Kraft and Ortiz both assured the audience that the trash would be kept picked up. Zoning Administrator Carl Miller read a list of questions pertaining to the overall operation of the track. Such items as drainage, portable restrooms, loudness of music, post-race gatherings, racing on holidays, and the time frame for racing were brought up. Mr. Kraft explained that the proposed racetrack would be a 1/4 mile straight-away racetrack, which would dump into an arena so that horses could not get loose. The track will not be seen from the road. Member Witt asked about parking. He was assured that there was room for both the track and adequate parking. When asked what would make their track different from the other one, Mr. Ortiz replied that he trains horses. There are no set rules at the other track. At the proposed track, all decisions on the outcome of races will be made by photo finish, thus alleviating disagreements. When asked how many races would be held per week, the answer was that paid races would only be held on Saturdays. 300 to 500 people could be expected on any race day, according to Mr. Ortiz, with 10 to 20 horses running. The trash issue was brought up again, but Mr. Ortiz was assuring the crowd that on Sunday mornings, he would have the trash picked up from the races on Saturday. At this time, the applicant's portion of the hearing was closed. Public comment followed. Lonnie Carter was the first to speak from those present. Carter lives 1/2 mile from the southeast of the proposed track. A major concern was the number of people that this type of racing would attract. Drinking and driving is also a problem. Safety was the main issue conveyed by Mr. Carter. He is concerned that the rules won't be followed. Gambling was also mentioned. Mr. Kraft and Mr. Ortiz both indicated that a sign will be put up that says no gambling. A fee will be collected for those that wish to enter to watch the races. No fees are charged for racing the horses. The motive here is not to gamble. Chairman Lucas informed those present that the permit for a racetrack does not follow ownership of the property. If the property is sold and the new owner wants to operate a racetrack on the site, the permit procedure would start all over. Greg Fisher lives on the same quarter as Kraft. His concern started with the waterway along the north side of the property and who would maintain it. Mr. Fisher then threw it back to the board by asking if there were any guidelines and precedents concerning racetracks that the board follows when determining when enough is enough. Member Witt stated that permits were considered on a case-by-case basis. Chairman Lucas stated there were no rules to follow, that the committee has 17 guidelines to follow. The township board is supposed to maintain the waterway, according to Fisher. Tracy Fancher then took over the public portion of the meeting. She handed out a detailed map of the area with residents highlighted. She noted that the other racetrack is only about a mile away. When drinking is involved, she questioned if 1 or 2 people could keep a crowd in line. Ms. Fancher had contacted the insurance commissioner regarding insurance. She passed out state statutes that had been faxed to her explaining that Mr. Kraft could indeed be liable if there was an accident on his property. The question of whether the property that Mr. Kraft owns is a wetlands was the next topic. Tracy passed out maps outlining the area. Ken Dewey, who lives 1.5 miles west of the property, spoke to the board concerning his mother's property, which is 1/2 mile west of the site. He is concerned about trash control going west out of the property. Loud music was another issue brought up. Discussion ensued concerning a possible curfew with concern over who would control it. When asked if the stipulations that are put on this track could be imposed on the current track, Carl indicated that he would check. It was stated to those present that zoning stipulations are all that the zoning board deals with, DUIs or a law enforcement issue. Joyce Carter voiced her concern over the trash problems. The Carters are currently picking up trash from those that leave the other track. Lonnie Gross spoke up to ask why do we need 2 racetracks in one township. Mr. Ortiz responded that they do not like the current track. Things are not run as they should be, in his opinion. Chairman Lucas then read the original list of stipulations, giving the applicants a chance to respond. Number 1, maintain trash problems and maintain restroom facilities. In response to this stipulation, the area is surrounded by trees. Any trash that originates on the premises probably won't go anywhere. The applicants cannot control what goes on to and from the track on the public roads. The porta potties will be pumped after each racing event. Number 2, inspections may be conducted by the zoning administrator at any time without notice. Number 3, fence the facility boundary. Number 4, no parking on the county road. Mr. Kraft stated that they do not intend to bother people by racing the horses. Mr. Gross chimed in that the noise from the other track could be heard at their house. Tracy Fancher has an issue with the current fencing situation on the property. She had contacted the sheriff's office to see how many complaints had been called in on Mr. Kraft for his animals being loose. There were 3 complaints in 2005 and 6 in 2006. Those assembled were assured that the committee would do a thorough job. It is important to have zoning in the county, not to derail business ventures. The first time this permit was discussed and voted on, it was not easy. The board is trying to do what is best for all involved. Mr. Carter agreed that there was probably no solution to the noise issue. He wants peace and quiet. That's why he lives 10 miles from town. With there being no more comments from the group, Chairman Lucas then closed the hearing. Pete Witt moved and David Brewer seconded to retire to closed session for 30 minutes to discuss the issue. Motion carried unanimously. In at 8:45, out at 9:15. A motion for an additional 10-minute closed session was made by Roger Fancher, with Phyllis Dobbs seconding the motion. In at 9:18, out at 9:28. Chairman Lucas then outlined the 7 stipulations that the board came up with. Number 1, maintain trash problems and maintain restroom facilities. Number 2, inspections may be conducted by the zoning administrator at any time without notice. Number 3, to fence facility boundaries to adequately contain livestock. Also maintain a single entrance exit to the location. Number 4, no parking on the county roads. Number 5, the pairing of horses and actual racing will be completed 30 minutes before sunset. Number 6, a posted track closing policy that stipulates no music or excessive noise after racing is completed is required. Number 7, applicants must notify EMS, call the sheriff administrative line, and the county zoning administrator prior to any racing event. Wade Harris moved and Phyllis Staub seconded to approve the horse racing facility permit with the 7 stipulations as read on the west half of the southwest of the northeast quarter of 162113 in North Sutter Township. Those voting yea, Wade Harrison, Phil Staub, David Roots, Darrell Lucas, Pete Witt, and Roger Brancher. Nay was Mary Meshberger. The case will again be forwarded to the county commissioners on September 24, 2007 at 9:30 in the commissioners' meeting room. The permit cannot be returned to the zoning board. A decision on whether to accept or reject the recommendation of the zoning board must be made on this date. Bonnie Carter's parting remark was that now he had a house for sale between 2 racetracks. If this was an issue about money, he had just lost money on his property. Pete Witt moved and Roger Brancher seconded to adjourn the meeting. Meeting adjourned at 9:40 p.m.
Has anybody got any questions on the minutes or anything?
Okay. I'm going to ask the applicant and members of the public present the first of 2 questions. To those of you who are present on this case, do you feel that you had a fair and impartial hearing?
I do.
Okay. Public?
What hearing are you talking about?
This one here or the planning committee?
Planning commission.
Fair and impartial?
That's what it asked.
No.
Well, Lonnie Carter said no. After the zoning administrator's report, I will be asking the second question to the applicant and the public who may wish to speak to this item. Is there any new information on this case not otherwise presented at the hearing that should be brought to the attention of the board?
Yes.
Is there?
Yes.
Okay.
Carl's got some new information.
Can I wait for Carl? I've got,
Since the unofficial minutes were read and the 7 conditional uses was applied to the special use application, due to this, and what I do procedure-wise is after before it comes to the board here, I asked for the assistance from Foster and Associates, our planning consultant for the zoning administration, for some assistance, so I emailed those to him. Mr. Foster did have some concerns that when the commission acted, there should have been a little more wording in the stipulations, and for both the applicant and for the zoning administration to abide by. And so I have, with their assistance, I have a resolution with 13 stipulations and not 7 to bring to the board today. I don't know if probably you would like to read those 13. They're on the same line as what we have. They're a little more detailed. And our consultant told us, just to kind of remember, what you hear in the minutes or what you hear when you're in the meeting, you need to emphasize on paper, because not everybody was there, even though things were said. So some of these are a little more detailed, and some of them are new. The first two pages are identical to what was brought to the board prior. Since we have a lot of people here, I didn't know if Nina wanted to read these 13. Everybody heard the first 7. And maybe after we hear the 13, if you want to address me or the applicant, like, we would go, what it does, it just goes into more detail for the stipulation.
You read them?
You're such a good reader. You need some water?
Okay, number 1. That a legal description of the area to be used for the special use, including the access way, be provided by the applicants prior to the publication of the resolution. Number 2, that a plot plan to scale be submitted with the application for the zoning permit for the special use which is satisfactory to the zoning administrator, that depicts the location of the horse race track and all relevant accessory uses such as, but not limited to, off-road parking spaces, fencing, lighting, restrooms, food and or beverage service areas, access way, and special use signs. Number 3, that the public participation of not more than 400 people in the horse racing event be limited to Saturdays only between March 1st to October 31st in any one calendar year, and only between the hours of 11 a.m. to 1 hour after sunset on that day. Number 4, by application and acceptance of the zoning permit, the applicants agree to permit the zoning administrator to enter upon the special use site for inspection of compliance with these conditions at any reasonable time of the day that horse racing occurs. Number 5, this special use is approved only for the use of the current applicants and does not run with the premises and thus cannot be sold, transferred, or inherited without reapplication for a special use and approval of new owners. Number 6, if during any 12-month period the special use ceases to operate and thus is considered abandoned, the zoning permit approving the special use is automatically revoked and considered null and void. No further operation shall take place unless reapplication is made for a special use. Number 7, a sign of readable size shall be displayed at all times when racing occurs that briefly describes the fact that gambling on horse races is not allowed at this facility by state statutes and indicate the penalties for such violations. Such signage to be approved with the zoning permit. Number 8, adequate space for at least 100 off-road parking spaces will be provided to discourage parking on any adjacent county road. Number 9, any sound levels for a loudspeaker, music, etc. shall not exceed blank decibels at the property line within which the special use is located. So you have a number for that?
An example on that is the normal voice, what she's reading in today is 60 decibels. So the board would go accordingly to that.
Number 10, applicants must notify the Stafford County Emergency Medical Service 24 hours before any horse racing activity takes place. 11, sufficient trash receptacles shall be maintained on the special use site to discourage littering, and a cleanup of the site shall be undertaken 24 hours after the closing of the racetrack for the day. Number 12, as part of the application for the zoning permit, a statement will be filed to describe the method of training the horses. Number 13, if the zoning administrator subsequently finds that there is a violation of any of the conditions attached to the granting of this special use, the zoning administrator may, in addition to enforcing the other remedies available in the zoning regulations, declare that the zoning permit issued for the special use is null and void.
On number 3, one correction, did you say, maybe I read it wrong, that 1 hour before sunset, is it after sunset?
It was for 1 hour after the sunset of that day that the track has to be vacated.
Vacated, okay, the racing 1 hour before sunset.
That's correct. And that's where they came into that, and once again, we were all there and kind of heard it, but they stopped racing about 30 minutes or an hour before, I can't really remember, before sunset for the safety of the horses and so forth. And then they needed about an hour and a half to load up and so forth like that, so that they can get off and at that, then that would be 1 hour after sunset, then everybody would be gone from the track.
Everybody gone, completely gone.
Yes. And as you can see, most all that is a lot more, after reading the minutes and hearing those two that close together, that these 13 do specify a little better what the minutes actually discussed and not what we had prior on there. I did print some maps out this morning that we can use with and without the aerial photography, where we can draw the plot plan as number 2 states in. And that would be after this meeting. So those are that's all the new information that I have.
Applicants come first and then,
Yes.
okay, do you fellas have any new information?
No, I don't guess. One thing, what about the motorcycles all going around for the weekend as the road turns to my property, coming off of 281 highway? I mean, that's a lot of noise. If the noise is the problem, the horse track is not gonna bother, You'll never hear the horse track over that noise.
You want me to- That will be addressed right now. They have not applied for any kind of a special use for that. That is gonna be under investigation. I
They
told
don't
before.
have to apply though if all of them are just doing that, do they, or?
Yes, sir,
They
because
do.
it's a land use change, and that's what I talked to Tracy a while back, that I thought this was gonna be a concern also on that corner. And
Well,
I
I
went,
mean, I'm not complaining about it, I'm just saying that you're not gonna hear the horse track over them motorcycles.
but that'll be addressed at another, that would be a different, that's his concern, but that'll be addressed in a separate issue there.
So there's a motorcycle track or cross country, or what
There's
is
some
it?
things going on that corner. The family lives in Great Bend, and it was purchased recently, and a dirt track was put in, actually.
And they did it so they could get away from the trunks down at the river.
Would you say it's gonna have some restrictions, that it's not the properly?
First, we want to find out what's going on. I mean, we need to get the facts first.
Because there are not that many people there.
Any others, any thoughts?
Yes.
Any new from the
You want me to go first?
public?
Who wants to go first?
You guys want to speak?
Okay, when you speak, state your name. I mean, I know most of you, but you don't know,
Okay.
please.
I guess I'll go first. We went around just to see how many people in North Sewer Township and the county wanted it. These are your taxpayers speaking, who I believe the commissioners represent.
And
I'm
your
sorry,
name?
I'm Tracy Fancher.
Okay.
These are your taxpayers speaking, and I went ahead and made the 3 commissioners copies. I have the original too. It's a petition against the racetrack stating these are residents in Stafford County. I have over 2/3 of the North Sewer Township where the track is supposed to be, saying no, they don't want it. I have over 100 signatures in Stafford County saying no, they don't want it. And we didn't really start on this till Friday evening. There's several reasons that people don't want it. They're stated on here, which a lot of them are the same as the minutes. It'd be a nuisance. There's another racetrack nearby. It's a traffic hazard. The noise, it adds little if anything to the Stafford County economy. The animals would escape at some point, get on the property, including 281 highway, breeding ground for flies and insects. The beverage, beer license, cereal milk beverage license would create a party-like atmosphere, and it would diminish the property of the adjoining racetracks. People were so eager to sign this. 5 of the signatures on here are not people who live in Stafford County, but they own property in Stafford County. Like my dad Harvey, he lives in Great Bend, and he owns property adjacent to this. And the people on the corner, we spoke to them, that had the dirt track, and they had said they moved out there because they used to go down by the river to race with their kids, and it was getting too dangerous down there for people drinking. So several of them went together and bought the property so they could actually have a safe place for their kids, and this would not add to that. And I didn't know if you guys are interested in the name, so I got extra 2. Did you need the original yet, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. Who's joining the ground by that right there?
It's adjoining,
Dean Smith's on there.
Yeah, Dean
Harvey
Smith is
Fancher's
on
on
there,
there.
Harvey Fancher, Glenn,
Leo and Leon are both on there.
yeah, Leo's on there, Leon's on there.
They're adjoining property.
I tried to make a note on some of them that were adjacent for you.
Because folks, the person who are adjacent actually have a louder voice than citizens at large.
It's shaky on there.
It's just the way zoning set up.
I'm out of county.
It's still fun.
There's Leon is on a different page.
You can add to that. Is that the original, Tracy?
She has a vision here.
Glenn didn't get to sign it, he's
He'd like to sign
adjacent.
it. Get back to Carl.
You said all these people live or have property in this particular township.
101 have property, live in Stafford County, 5 have property in Stafford County,
Yeah,
which
she
includes
wasn't there.
my dad who was
He wasn't there.
adjacent.
They didn't answer that.
Virginia Sharp and Leonard Sharp, Lonnie didn't realize he was supposed to stick to Stafford County, and Leonard wanted to sign it, and he's not in good health, so we just let him sign it, but they own property in Stafford County. The Kurtzes that have the corner, he signed it, because like I said, he wants to keep the family area, that's why he put property in the first place.
And they don't ride all the time. I'm Lonnie Rose. That, on that track on the corner, you know, I'm pretty touched on the noise around there, because we live in the country, and that's a third generation farm of Harvey Fanchers. And they don't ride all the time. They might ride for like 2 or 3 hours at a time. Then they stop for an hour. But they're always gone. They come there Friday night, and they ride around. Usually it's just Ben, him and his family. But they had a couple more people in there. I think they had 10 people in there running around. And they shut it off, and there's no noise after, they shut it off by 7 o'clock.
You're talking about the motorcycle?
Yeah, the motorcycle track. And on
Sounds like it changed.
Saturday, the next day, they was gone by 2 o'clock. And what they do is they bring a trailer out there in case somebody gets tired or something like that and have a water situation, that they can go to the trailer and get out of the sun. They don't sleep out there overnight. So, because when I went in there and talked to them, I confronted them about, all the noise and stuff like that. I was concerned about that. They asked me where I lived, and I says, I live about a quarter mile from you, so I'm going to be concerned about it.
Do they drink?
No, they do not drink. He's he's assistant manager, if I remember right, him telling me. He's assistant manager at Walmart. And what they did is that's why they bought this piece of ground, for their kids to ride. They don't ride. The parents don't ride. It's just for the kids.
And they've been watering it down.
And they've been trying to water it down and keep the track so it doesn't blow over on John and everybody else.
Any other information, new information?
Yeah, my name's Tom Cope, and I've spent about 15 years racing horses. Between training, grooming, walking them, running shed. The only element I don't like about the horse racing is there's not gonna be no horse racing without gambling. That just ain't gonna happen. And in that, you bring in a criminal element that those that can't pay off their bookie or can't pay off their bet, the local farmer's gonna have to take a chance of their stuff disappearing so they can pay off their debt. And on bush tracks, there's a lot of doping of the horses. On the other tracks, they had a restriction, you got tested every day, your horses after they raced got tested to find out if they were doped. If they were, there were fines and everything else put up. And most tracks, there's an ambulance on hand when they're racing. It's not sitting in town, it's on the track. If a person goes down and steps on them, 10 minutes may save their life, 20 minutes to get there, too late. And I said, I'm really not against horse racing, but I just know the elements that go with it. And I'm just concerned about everybody having to lock all their stuff up to keep the criminal element away. And where they're using drugs on the horses, they're probably using it with the people.
You said you associate with the racetrack somewhere.
Yes, I've been Churchill Downs, Arlington Park, Remington Park.
You're talking about larger.
Yes.
Anyone else?
I just got one thing, I mean, when I was doing all these petitions and stuff, going around talking to the different people, and they was, you know, Tracy, like Tracy said, they was wanting to sign it. I mean, I had people driving up to me when I was driving down the road, heard I was around, and they came up and signed it. But you know, it's nothing on Dennis's track or Frank's track. But the horror stories I've heard from the other track of them tying kids on the horse to keep them on the horse. Because if they have a wild horse, sometimes they put a kid on there and they have to tie it on. That's a hearsay thing. That's just hearsay. And then I heard that one time they had a horse in the trailer and they couldn't get it out. So they tied a chain on it to pull the horse out. So,
And that was from somebody that was there.
and that was actually for somebody who was there. And I just, you know, that's why I just, and it's nothing to do with Frank's or, you know, because I don't know what kind of track they'll run. But that's what I've been hearing. I mean, that's concerns of mine because, you know, it's hurting the horses and stuff like that. It's cruelty to animals. And you guys are going to run into more problems if you get the Humane Society out there or somebody like that.
PETA came to Omaha and released the horses out of the barns. They got onto the backside and flat released the horses. When we was Exarban, it's been closed down, but PETA got onto the backside and they opened up the stalls and let the horses out on the backside. That was a big mess.
Anyone else?
Will this be final today, Lee? It's gonna be taken care of?
That's the way I understand it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'm Galen Fisher. I'm related to Greg and I have family that travel 281 a lot. And I have family that travel the Dartmouth Blacktop a lot. And we see all sorts of trailers and with no lights. And this is what concerns me the most, is that late at night, these people are gonna be moving around and they're, right now, they're not traveling 281, they're going down the dirt roads. And what scares me is if you don't have lights on your trailer and stuff like that, somebody's gonna get hurt really, really bad. And the liability issues here are just way more than what this track will ever bring into this county. I mean, if one person gets killed, it's not worth it.
Thank you. Is anybody else? All right, we'll close this down and deliberate on this. What do you think?
What do you have to have executive session or something, you're saying?
You just have to announce your decision in open session, but you can certainly retire to.
Everything does come
pros
forward.
and cons.
Yeah.
But I want to say too that, about 8 or 10 years ago, this wouldn't have been an issue because we did zone, had the county zone. And we took a lot of heat whenever we had the county zone, and we had a lot more people on the court was all against the zoning and stuff. But as you can see, the zoning is meant for a purpose to at least put some meat in, you know, put some teeth in some stuff where people got some guidelines to follow by. And I think our committee does an excellent job, and they're very sincere about their jobs. They're not getting paid or anything, and it's all free gratis, and they I mean, they're not the most popular people around either, but I just want to say, I appreciate the committee for what they did in doing a good job. But that said, I would probably need to go into executive session and for how many minutes you think? Anybody else have anything to say?
15 minutes, do it.
I think so, probably. I'll make a motion.
A second?
We move to second, go to executive session, discuss this. All in favor, say aye. Carl and Tom. Is this everybody here, or?
Yeah, they had to go back to work.
Okay,
Go back to session.
we'll go back in session. We need to consider this, petition. Need a motion on that petition.
Accept the decision.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Been moved and seconded to accept, motion 12-757, is that right? Okay.
In other words, the board is finding the petition comes within KSA 12-757. We're doing that for benefit of the record, folks.
You
it.
said.
And I second it. And it's good and sufficient.
Okay. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now I would ask for a motion on SU 07001 zoning permit.
I'll make the motion we not approve the zoning recommendation on SU 07001.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded, we not approve. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So it is disapproved. And Joe, you
Okay, now, the zoning statutes are found both in KSA Chapter 12 and KSA Chapter 19. And what I'm looking at is KSA 12-760, which I can pretty much quote from memory. And basically, that says that any person who's aggrieved by a decision of the Board of County Commissioners or City Council approving, disapproving zoning change, special use permit, and the like, any aggrieved person has 30 days from date of decision, that is today, September 24, 2007, to file a lawsuit. It's called a petition, but it's not like you get a bunch of people to sign it. Any one person who's an aggrieved party can file the petition in the district court challenging the decision of the county commissioners. I would strongly encourage anybody to consult with an attorney rather than trying to do it themselves or off the internet or something. These are, I won't say real routine, but they're fairly routine. I've been involved in a couple of those. And typically, you'll have something like Zimmerman versus Waubonsie, county commissioners. I don't know if there's been such a filing here in Stafford County lately. Again, I would encourage anybody to consult with an attorney if they feel they're an aggrieved party. I would also point out to them that they have a strict deadline of 30 days from today's date. Otherwise, the court's without jurisdiction. So that makes it what? October 24, 2007.
Yeah.
Is this open meeting? We can speak?
Yep.
My assumption is you're the county attorney.
Correct.
Okay. What are you, in layman's terms, what are you saying?
That any person who's disappointed with the denial of the special use permit, I'm assuming that would be the applicants.
Yes.
They have 30 days in which to file an appeal.
Okay.
Actually, it's not really an appeal, it's a lawsuit in Stafford County District Court where they're the plaintiff and the county commissioners are the defendants. Nobody else would be a party to it, it'd be the aggrieved party versus the county commissioners. And the court then looks to see if the decision of the county commissioners is one, lawful, and two, reasonable.
Thank you.
Is there anything for,
I just want to thank everyone for their input.
yeah, thank you for your input.
Concerns, and again, I want to thank our committee. I think they did an excellent job.
Thanks, Mr. Carl.
Gonna let the other racetrack keep operating?
We are putting some more stipulations on them.
And I think that Carl's got, that set of guidelines we've got, you're gonna be enforcing them more, is that right, on the other racetrack?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add, Carl?
I'm sorry.
Do you have anything you want to add or anything?
No, that's all. I just have something else.
Okay.
For the burden.
You guys have anything else?
Well, my concern is the list that was taken around, it would be very sufficient, I wouldn't think. They could have told them what, we were gonna drag horses with the chain or whatever. Well, we're not gonna do nothing like that.
The significance of the petition, if you're interested, the significance of the petition is if the petition is found to be good and sufficient under KSA 12-757, then it requires a unanimous vote of the county commissioners to approve. Absent the petition, the county commissioners could approve your application by a 2/3 vote. As it turned out, it looks like you got no votes, so the petition was really kind of, you know, as a legal matter, was kind of irrelevant. But that was a predicate question, you know, whether or not the petition was valid, because if the county commissioner said the petition was not valid, they still could approve your application by a 2/3 vote. If the petition was valid, which they found, it's a 3/3 vote to approve. Did that answer your question?
Well, somewhat. I meant though the truth of the fact to get the names on the.
Petition's a public document for what it's worth.
All right, well, that's what I'm wondering is. Yeah. Well.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this was on the,
I forgot about that.
I kinda did too, I found it in my file.
okay,
Somebody wants to know what to vote.
you need to go.
No.
You need to take a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, I only have two things. I had one thing, now I have two things. This is on the, and they have that?
No, I,
This is,
I'll be back, Nina.
okay, okay.
okay.
No,
Sure.
no.
This is on the compliance procedures that the county commissioners have been to every year. And what I have here on the maintenance plan, they kind of coincide, so this is great timing. And on the second paragraph, it says, your county has met the criteria and was determined to be in substantial compliance. That's probably the biggest sentence in this whole letter here. If you want to read the whole thing, you can. And what that means is procedure-wise and statistic-wise, we were in compliance on for last year's valuations. So that's what, and that's why it goes to the county commissioners and not to me.
Regardless of what some of the people said.
Regardless of what everybody thinks. And really just, Anita's already put on there, the checklist is all the different steps that we have when the state comes in to give us a yes or no. This is actually, I guess, my report card from the state.
Very good.
Property Evaluation Department. So, everything was pretty good, and so that's what that would be.
Well, Carl, you've done a good job.
You've done a great job.
So the front page report.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
should have
When it
highlighted.
says it's not, boy, that's what you just.
And that's typically why I don't make a big issue, you know, the next year something could happen. You know, the last time we were that close to something not being in compliance is when that RNF holding came through St. John and bought all those properties up. And there's a couple from Stafford and a couple from Maxwell, but most of them was here, and they paid like 200% of the market values. on quite a few properties. That was the closest we came to falling out of compliance. And so to take one step further, this is the maintenance plan that I have to give to property valuation every year. And instead of having you read the whole thing, it just kind of goes through the procedures of what we have here. Since you have the authority over the appraiser's office, I just need or ask for 2 pages to be signed by you guys.
Okay.
And what this is all the phases that the state double checks us on in the appraiser's office. This is a mandate. What this does is to show if we have enough employees to do what we're supposed to do. I just take every phase, divide by how many we have, and that gives me how many man-days we need. And then if I take it down here, it gives me the number of man-hours we need for the year. And then I can divide that by Don, Marilyn, and myself to see if we have enough employees to do what we're doing. So I would need that signed if you don't mind. And then this here, this is the same list that we have right here. And then we have a calendar year across. This shows these numbers are percentages. This shows what we do, what phases we start in each time of the year. So, and then if you can do sign that down, that'd be great.
Okay.
Everything else is pretty standard on that. And then I do impose you to approve those again, that you guys, that the commission approve.
Okay.
That would be good.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion.
I make the motion, we sign the phase delinquent chart and the mandate requirement.
Second motion.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 And filling in on the new Orion system, the new camera system that we're gonna be having, the state has scheduled quite a few classes. We will probably start attending those maybe towards the end of next month and in November. And the state did, since we had 2 older computers, the state will be purchasing 2 computers for Stafford County Appraiser's office, and then we'll just get them installed and configured in. And I will probably, because of the AS400s involved and some other things, is with the approval, and I guess I'm asking now, is I'll probably go with, I'll probably call Next Tech. And the gentleman called, his name's Jamie, is aware of the 400 and the appraisal system. And that's where we'll probably just call and have them come in.
You said you worked with them up at
Ellsworth. Did a very good job. Did a very good job.
Yeah.
Understands the whole concept, understands how it links, how the appraiser's office is linked with the county clerk's office, how the county clerk's office is linked with us, and the treasurer's office. And that's what you don't necessarily have is the county government part on everybody.
So you're
IT people, you know, IT people are good. It's just a little more to make everything read each other back and forth, and then we don't want to miss anything on that.
So you need the approval to,
Well,
or,
that'd be fine, I'd feel better. It might be kind of costly, but the computers are free.
we'll make the motion, we'll allow Carl to contact Next Tech to reconfigure his computers.
Okay, I'll second motion.
Been moved and seconded. Now call reconfigure his computer. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, that gets you up to date on me. And do you have anything else? Anything?
Thank
Will
Carl.
he have
Thanks a
to
lot.
do something to our computers too?
He might come in and what he might do with you is, and the state might come in is if you want additional information or different, you know, if you want to be linked to it, I think I don't know if he'll know the cost, but I'll get the cost on that for the county clerk and so forth. So we're trying to have the state pick up as much as we can. Cost on all that. That's all I have then.
All right.
Thank you very much for your time. I'll call the zoning commission and let each one of them know.
Well, express our gratitude.
Absolutely.
I'll do that.
Absolutely.
For what they've
Yeah.
done.
But I think if a petition had come before them too, they might have some second thoughts.
Right.
They had some information they didn't have
And you
before.
vote for the rest for that.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
We'll get
Thanks,
these
Carl.
chairs out.
Yeah. Okay, this is a letter that I wrote in support of that grant Amy Boxberger talked to you guys about last week. I just copied off the form she had and changed names and stuff.
I'll make a motion to approve this letter to, let's go to,
Jimmy Box.
Kansas Department of Corrections, right?
A second.
Good move, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
And I got a call from Topeka, October 3rd at the Capitol. You guys have been asked to appear before a Senate committee to discuss how the FEMA disaster went. You don't have to. I have a number to call back. I didn't think you might want to take time.
How do we know?
Okay.
How do we know how the FEMA?
You just go outside.
Well, I didn't think you would be, but I wanted to ask just to make sure. Okay, do you need to recess, because I thought it was somebody else called, because you have a call.
Recess,
Recess.
we need to have.
Yeah.
This is Lori Lamb, Sweet Farm down southwest corner of the county. And when I first called you this morning, I told her I had a complaint, but then I got to thinking I don't really have a lot to complain about with the road department. I was just calling to ask for some consideration. I think 3 years out of 3, sorry, I'm driving a grain cart right now. I think the last 3 years we've had to have this road sealed down here south of town, south of Maxville, right smack dab during the middle of corn harvest, and it's happening again today. And we can get through, but it's a delay, and then we've got the gravel issue, and it's I don't know. I called Phil this morning, and he said, well, he's a month behind, but my comment is if you're a month behind, why not be 6 weeks behind and do it another time? It's just, it's busy time, and we got 80,000 pound loads up and down that road. We don't have any options going any other road. I mean, there's no road a mile west, and the road a mile east is so sandy. There's no way we could get down it. Anyway, the road department is fantastic. I don't have a complaint about them. I live in Edwards County, and you talk about a road department that needs to be complained about. I mean, Stafford County is so good to get out and mow and fix the potholes, and they've been good to us down here, and Edwards County doesn't know the meaning of any of that. So I just calling to see if we could, if there's some way we can have some consideration and have some of this road work done at another time besides corn harvest.
I think we certainly can, and we'll convey that information to Phil, and maybe he can change his schedules around to where he won't interfere with harvest.
Well, that'd be great. And he was, nice and considerate on the phone, and it's just kind of the way the schedule fell. But I think the schedule, like I said, I think this is my truck driver said this is 3 years out of 3 now. We've had to go around or whatever down here. But anyway, that's thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that your older or younger sister? Older sister. Has she
Is there
kept you
anything
in
else to come before the commission?
All right,
Then
then.
make a motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
No windmills today, huh?
No windmills, dang it.